What is up, Valid peeps? Cadiant here, and happy Pride Month! Osama Sentai King Ohja is the most recently finished season of Super Sentai, and is an absolute fan favourite in the tokusatsu community. Not just the show, but one of its characters is also a fan favourite and the subject of today's video, Rita Kaniska, Papillon Ohja of its eponymous team. I myself love them, and today's video is all about that, and I'll have a few guests in later to talk about why they love Rita too. With all that being said, let's get started. Before that though, I did want to bring attention to some not great stuff going on in the world right now. These include Israel's genocide and colonization of Palestine and other surrounding countries, the genocide and slavery in Congo, the war in Yemen, and the war on blackout in Sudan. If your valid peeps could take a moment to donate to these causes, boycott those supporting oppression, educate yourself, or even just spread awareness about these, it would be much appreciated. I'll put some relevant links down in a pinned comment, and now, let's actually begin! There are quite a few reasons why I love Rita, and first of all is why I'm even doing this as my annual Pride Month video this year. The Supreme Justice of Gokhan is a landmark in the history of the Super Sentai franchise, being its first ever non-binary ranger. I always love seeing queer and trans representation in tokusatsu, and they were no exception. Unfortunately, as a result of their gender, they've been the subject of many arguments over whether or not they actually were non-binary, and it's pretty annoying whenever it does happen, because there are plenty of sources saying that they very much are. I did mention in last year's Pride Month video that the arguments had seemed to be done by the time I released it, but some not very great people still weren't convinced after that, and even as of a few months ago that was still the case. Despite how tiring these people can be to deal with, most folks in the Toku community respect Rita's non-binary identity, and I've come to find defending their gender identity has only made my love for them stronger. That's in regards to the community. Now how about Rita in the show? If even making this video isn't obvious enough of a hint, Rita isn't only my favourite character from King Ohja, but also my favourite ranger in the entire Super Sentai franchise. Despite their stoicism and firm upholding of the law on Terra, they are often very introverted, being rather reserved and shy, not often showing their feelings around others for the sake of neutrality. Over the course of the show, they do begin to value their own needs and open up to the people around them while still being able to do their job, namely their retainer Morphonia and the Queen of Ishibana, Himeno Ran, both of whom are often shipped with Rita by the community, sometimes simultaneously, me being one of those shippers. While nowhere near as much as I used to before I started transitioning, I will admit I am still rather reserved at times, especially around unfamiliar people, and especially when it comes to confrontations. I often end up saying nothing, or if I do say something, it's not always what I want to say in the moment. Not to mention, I do have a lot of trouble looking after my mental health, as I often prioritise looking after others, though I will say I'm trying to be better towards myself. These are a couple of my big points about why I relate to Rita a lot, and as a result, I've come to headcanon them as autistic, much like I am. While I don't really have any friends IRL, thankfully I have many friends in the Toku community whom I cherish dearly and wouldn't be where I am now without them. This is just a thought I wanted to insert here because I couldn't really figure out anywhere else in the video to mention this, but Rita is very much Bean. Heck, so Bean, I commissioned my friend Third Eye Artistry to make this art of me hugging Rita, a mere couple days after King Ohja finished. Rita's very much a comfort character of mine, and they've been through a lot, so frankly they deserve it. I very much want to protect them, yet simultaneously with how stoic they are, I'd also want them to protect me, but honestly that's probably also because they make me feel very gay sometimes, especially in the fan art. Dear God, the fan art. I am incredibly normal about them if you couldn't tell. Rita of course wouldn't be complete without their iconic Yeti plushie Mofun. I love the many moments these two have together. It's honestly really hard to nail down what exactly it is I love about them besides how adorable they are. I love Rita's obsession with not just the plushes of Mofun, but also its anime Mian Mofun, even going as far as getting trapped in the cage just to watch the most recent episode of it. Mofun is very much Rita's special interest, and I am absolutely all for it. Honestly though, the way Rita sometimes vents their frustrations to Mofun, I very much relate to that. I have my own big plushie, a 1 meter long blowhigh named Araska, whom I've had for 2.5 years now and love very much. Whenever I'm very stressed or overwhelmed and have them nearby, I always give them a hug, and just sometimes scream into them. Not to mention they always come to therapy sessions with me. Frankly, I don't think they'd be as easy without them. Before I start on the community submissions, I'd like to mention some of my highlights about Rita Kaniska. Their awesome speech from episodes 5 and 50, their absolutely adorable hugs with Morphonia in episodes 25 and 49, nearly sacrificing themselves to seal away Grody in episode 30, their moments with the fake Himeno in episode 36, them being an idol in episode 38, and in general their many moments with Mofun. Now for the first community submission, here we go! Hi, I'm Tammy, aka Tammy's Doodles or Meganish05 on social media. My pronouns are they, her, and I identify as an ace lesbian. Woohoo! Rita is my favourite Kingosha character because of how relatable they are, but also their character development that allows them to open up to others while still staying true to themselves as Chief Justice. It's really fun to watch someone claim to be the most hated person on the planet and always working alone be able to have people willing to befriend them and teach them how to rely on others. My favourites being their relationship with Himeno and Morphonia, as they were the ones who helped them open up the most. While their gender identity is always portrayed differently outside the show and movies due to negligence in other departments, I'm really happy to be able to see a main character of a Sentai series identify as gender neutral. They're able to both be a really cool and cute character without needing to conform to the gender binary unless it's needed for undercover work. P.S. If you're not going to they them Rita, at least he him them as well to balance it out. They're neutral. Otherwise, Tassiles Mirulia de Pago, transphobes!
Hey there, I'm Sunny Go Lucky from Third Eye Artistry, and my pronouns are they them first, she her second. While King Oja was airing, I was going through what I'd say was a big change in my identity. First coming out as a demigirl in June of last year, and then fully accepting myself as non-binary in August. While I definitely don't feel like I look as androgynous as I feel I should, honestly the power of retrospect makes me kind of look at Rita and realize, hey, you make me feel seen. I already love Rita for pretty much the same reason Kay does, so I won't repeat that. Though the Muffin thing makes me think of my own minor interest in plushies. So much so, I asked my future sister-in-law to make this for my birthday. But the big thing I realized only after the show ended. Rita, by means of gender identity, kind of feels a little like me. A character who appears AFAB but identifies and presents neutrally. Like I said, it makes me feel seen, and maybe even a little bit cool. Now, obviously, my experiences with my gender are different from other people's experiences, but I think we can all agree that having a character who isn't strictly defined by their gender alone, and is as amusing as they are a complete badass to boot, is exactly what we mean when we say representation matters. Hats off to Takana and Minato. This segment was a bit rambly, but I hope I got my point across. Thanks, Kay, for letting me talk about this amazing character. Anyways, with that out of the way, take your meds, drink your drink, and I'll see you later.
Oh, hello there. My name is Stacy, or Stacy Thought on Twitter. I go by she, her. I myself am a massive Rita girly. You see, I've always loved butterflies, and I've always loved the color purple, so when you mash them together into the absolute, Adonis that is Rita Kaniska, of course I'm going to go head over heels. But they're a little more important than just that. Before I was, one of the girls, I was myself identifying as a non-binary they-them person. So finally having a character of that representation in a media that I've loved for years, of course I was going to become infatuated in like the first 4 episodes or so. Also totally not because they're, beautiful as fuck. Rita has also been very important because, King Oja's whole thing is about the diversity between each kingdoms. Rita's is what I feel important to me and others because we haven't had this kind of representation in Rider or Sentai in a while. The last time I could think of some kind of trans umbrella kind of representation would have been from Wizard, but even then I don't know if that's fully canon or not. As the show continued and Rita's development also continued, just growing alongside them as they develop more as a person, melting their cold heart, you just come to enjoy them more as a character. Finding out their massive obsession with Muffin kind of hit close to home, because I know, being a Rider fan, we kind of have to hide our obsession with people dressing up in plastic armor and fighting rubber monster suits. So it's kind of relatable, if Rita has just been an icon for us as LGBTQ members. They're an important piece of King Ohger himself, You can't have countries without someone to uphold the law. And, at the end of the day, their design is also just fantastic. I remember first seeing that image, and the gender. I wanted to look like them so bad. I wanted to grow my hair out. I wanted the outfit. The outfit's a total slay. And, in the wise words of my good friend and mutual Tammy's Doodles, Rita is our favorite slut.
Hi, my name is Yuki, and I go by she, they. Why do I love Rita Kuniska? Well, it was love at first sight for me. I knew from the start that King Ohger's fantasy setting and the theme of leadership would be right up my alley, and Rita's visual design piqued my interest in particular. I really want to know how the actor could perform with just one eye, and Hirokawa Yusuke of course did not disappoint. One of my favorite scenes is Rita's speech in episode 5, "The law is a spear that slays kings, a shield which defends the people." I think there's a traditional heroic appeal in Rita's sense of justice, but also a very on-trend and human contrast with their nerdy side. Something Yusuke said always stayed with me, that both Rita's so-called public, unshakable side and the private, introvert side are true to who they are. I love that duality, and more so the world of King Ohger that allows it. As the show went on, I really enjoyed discovering layers to Rita, where they slowly warm up to others, but they are not demounted to compromise. And I love that Rita is unapologetically themselves, unapologetically artistic, nerdy, brutally honest, and still a highly capable character. Not to mention, Fabian Ohger's arm behind back fighting style and finishes were so cool. Rita may not be the best role model, but definitely someone that I deeply relates to and look up to.
And there's all the community responses. Thank you to all 4 of you, Tammy, Sunny, Stacy, and Yuki. I'll put links to all 4 of them down in the description. I've never made a video talking about one specific character before, and with it being one I love so much, it wasn't easy getting out all I wanted to say about them. Representation is and will always be very important. We all deserve to see ourselves depicted in media in some way, whoever we may be. Queer and trans representation in tokusatsu is getting better, but it's still very slow and far from perfect, so never stop asking for better. Trans rights are human rights. Have a very safe and happy Pride Month for valid peeps. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Check out the links in the pinned comment, and with all that being said, I will see all of you next time.